talk. We're going to tag team. Oh, there it goes. Hannah and I are going to talk together. So I'm going to start it off. My name is Jennifer Peterson Price. 1 second. I am going to do this. I'm going to explain what the A2Zero program is and tell you a little bit about our experience. And as Mr. Hardy said, Galen said, the A2Zero climate plan was developed. It was adopted by the city of Ann Arbor in 2020 to make sure it, along with its citizens, does all it can to protect our planet by reaching carbon neutrality. The city's plan includes transformative, equitable, and sustainable strategies to do this. As Mr. Hardy said, the goal is to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and to make our city more sustainable, among other things. So as Galen said, the date we must make these changes is by the year 2030. So we have 9 years. The community is a very important part of making these changes. And that's where the A2Zero ambassadorship program comes in. So just a little bit more about what the climate plan will do. As Galen said, there are 4 strategies or 4 main areas that the climate plan is focused on to obtain this goal. First is energy, so switching, transitioning our power grid to 100% renewable energy, electrifying our appliances and vehicles, and using energy efficiently by improving our buildings. Also transportation. So a fun fact, not really fun, cars, buses, and other motorized vehicles generate nearly 20% of the total greenhouse gas emissions in our communities. So reducing the miles driven by 50% will help us reach the carbon neutrality goal. And then designing a network of transportation that will connect our homes, our businesses, and public spaces will also help us do that. Next slide. Sorry, Hannah, I keep forgetting to tell you next slide. There we go. Thanks. Waste reduction. We're going to work towards a circular economy. And what that means is eliminating waste and the continual use of valuable resources. Also properly disposing of our waste. And then most important, avoid creating waste altogether. This will reduce greenhouse gas emissions and depletion of our natural resources. And then also adaptation and resilience, very important part. The goal is to enhance the resilience of our people and place. So resilience, as Galen said, is the ability to positively adapt to changing conditions while living a happy, healthy, safe, and sustainable life. To be resilient, our community needs to take actions that will help our community thrive despite climate change. So, and we also want to make sure that all of the neighborhoods thrive every day, not just some, but all of them. So that's why it's critical that we have equity. Our climate plan is equitable, and that we can work together to ensure that residents and businesses are prepared for events such as flooding, high heat days, extreme storms. This can be done through creating community centers, expanding social networks, and creating access to resources and education that help citizens become prepared. Next slide. Okay, so what is the A2Zero program? The A2Zero Ambassador Program is an opportunity for interested members of the community to learn about climate change and its effect on our community, and then learn how to serve as an ambassador between the community and the city government. Next slide. And then why is it so important? Why is this an important program? So you might be asking yourself, why is it important? Or maybe even, why do we need a program at all? Well, the reason is our program is so vital to the A2Zero plan because big changes are happening in our future. Climate change is beginning to affect our way of life and will continue to do so in the future. That means there will be more natural disasters, strong storms, increased temperatures. And if we want to be prepared, we'll have to make some changes. Alternately, if we want to try to stop this from happening, we'll have to make even bigger ones. So these changes range from switching to renewable energy sources for electricity, purchasing electric appliances, vehicles, and then preparing for potential disasters. These changes will affect everyone. Thus, we want to do this with the input of the community. And this is where the ambassadorship program comes in. The best way to get input from the community is to work with people in the community and let them be ambassadors to the city. So ambassadors communicate worries, ideas, critiques that members of the community may have. We want to make sure that these changes are done in a way that positively affects the community, and we always need feedback to make sure that our work is equitable and conscientious as possible. That brings me to, we did a meet and greet yesterday, and we talked to people in the community, and we tried to share the program with them. And I think doing things like that really helps people in the community understand what we're actually doing. Now I'm going to turn it over to Hannah. She's going to tell you what we did each week and the nuts and bolts of the program.
So, hi everyone. Like Jennifer said, my name is Hannah, and I'm gonna be starting off by talking a bit about, the first part of the ambassador program, which is the training, that the 9-week training thing we're gonna be going through. So, during this 9-week training period, we're gonna be you would spend 2 hours a week learning about different issues regarding climate change and its effects on the cities as well as our plan to help the city to contribute less to the problem and also to be resilient towards future consequences of the problem. Each week we're going to have various professionals come in and teach you about their field of expertise, which is really exciting, and it's really nice to hear from people who really know about what they're talking about. So the first week the first thing they go through at the first week is, how equity and environmental justice, why it's so important to climate action, and why and how it's going to be implemented in A2Zero. Then the second week, we'll spend some time just talking about very general, climate change stuff like community sustainability, what climate change even is, and climate action and stuff. And the third week is energy focused. So we're going to be learning about energy efficiency, electrification, and also renewable energy. So that's all that fun stuff like solar and wind energy. Then the next week, the course is about water efficiency, water quality, stormwater, and our watershed. And the fifth week is about transportation and choices about moving around in our community. So that includes things like buses and bike lanes and stuff. So I thought that one was really exciting. Then after that, we have a week where we learn about a circular economy. That basically includes things like waste reduction, composting, recycling, sustainable purchasing, material reuse, and all that fun stuff. After that, we have a lesson on local food and how to grow it, eat it, and find it. Then the second to last meeting, we'll be learning about resilience, so both personal and community resilience, and also about emergency preparedness. And finally, you have one more week where we kind of tie it all together, A2Zero and you. So once you have finished the training, you will all be given an opportunity to come up with your own project ideas for ways that Ann Arbor can work towards a more sustainable future. So this can include anything from building a rain garden, to starting a community support network, to helping educate others about climate change. For example, the group that I'm a part of with Jennifer, we've been giving presentations at AAPS schools about what climate change is, and also ways that the students at that school can, come up with their own projects and help contribute to a healthier planet. That includes things like, setting up a green team. Setting up a green team, or helping clean up litter at the school. And all of that fun stuff. And there are a bunch of also like different examples of projects that A2Zero people have different A2Zero groups have been working on is like building a mutual aid network, creating a newsletter, or creating an A2Zero website. You even have stuff like, building solar gardens, or there's also one where where people are, working on recycling and composting for multifamily complexes. So we had all these ideas for different projects, and a lot of them were taken up by different A2Zero ambassador groups. So those are all sorts of things that you could do after the A2Zero training as an ambassador, that then you could, whatever sort of idea you come up with, there's a lot that you can do there, and it's also a lot of fun. So a lot of you might be thinking that this all sounds really cool, but you might feel like you're too young or inexperienced to be a part of the program. But that's really not the case at all, because you don't need to be an adult in order to apply to the program, and are encouraged to do so, regardless of how much experience or knowledge on the subject you may or may not have. So, because it's really important to us that the entire community is able to give their ideas and input on the goals and actions of the A2Zero initiative. And a big part of the community that has been sort of
Hannah, I think you cut out for me.
that the youths have a voice in the decisions being made, since we are the ones who will be most impacted by the climate crisis and its consequences, because it is basically our future that we're fighting for. Besides, all around the world, you guys probably don't need to know this because a lot of you are already really involved in climate action and stuff, but all around the world, youths have been front and center in climate action. Like, as you can see here on the slideshow, there's been youths leading in everything from protests such as the Global Fridays for Future movement, where they've been striking every school from school every Friday in order to protest against climate inaction by the government. So everything from things like that to speaking at conventions and gatherings, such as when Greta Thunberg spoke at the UN climate conference to world leaders. So really, it's really been that youths all over the world have been making a big difference and are really being a part of the solution. And this would be a great opportunity for you to find another way to join these efforts. So yeah, now so far this has been very kind of general information, but we thought we'd add a bit more of a personal touch by sharing each of our own experiences and taking a part of the A2Zero ambassador program. So yeah.
Do you want me to go first, Hannah? I can go. Okay, cool. Hi, it's Jennifer again. And so here's my story about how I became an ambassador. I've been a part of a few different climate groups here in Ann Arbor the past few years. And I'm going to be really frank with you, I was beginning to get frustrated because things were happening really slowly. We would meet and nothing would happen. So then the city adopted the A2Zero climate plan last year, and I got really excited and I wanted to become involved. I heard about the A2Zero ambassador program on the radio, and I jumped at the chance to be in it. I had to fill out an application, and I already had a program in mind that I wanted to bring to the community, and it actually was a perfect timing for me because I was going to fill out the grant, the community grant, but I thought instead I'll do the ambassador program and then I can just share it with the community. I am a teacher. I teach after-school science enrichment classes in Ann Arbor and other communities, and so I wanted to bring my expertise and my what I do to Ann Arbor public school students. So the ambassador program. Oh, and I also wanted to say, as you all know, children are feeling climate stress as much, or I don't know exactly, but I know they're feeling climate stress just like we are. And I wanted to help them feel empowered to do something about it. The ambassador program began with a very impactful presentation about environmental equity and justice. And we were asked to frame each week keeping environmental justice and equity in mind. So each week I learned so much about the city, how it runs, and got to know some of the amazing people that work for the city. We had presentations by university instructors. It was so educational. I learned a ton, and I love to learn. So then we were asked to create and work on a project of our own. So as I said, I had a project in mind, so I put my hat in the ring. I wrote up the project that I wanted to do, and it was chosen as one of the projects that we are working on. And the best part about the A2Zero Ambassador program so far for me has been working on the project. Just because of COVID, we had to meet over Zoom, which wasn't as much fun. And my team members are amazing. We've been doing some really good work. And I think we're going to go back and do it in the fall. Hopefully students will be able to give presentations to students in person. And it's just been a very, very enriching program for me. And it made me feel a little less stress about climate change as well, and a little less like empowering for myself as well. Okay, so that's my story. Hannah, I'll give it over to you.
Okay, thanks. So, hi, my name is Hannah. I'm 15 years old and I'm a freshman at Y High. So I first actually heard about the ambassador program when I was a part of this youth activist group called the Sunrise Movement. One of my fellow activists told me about this program.
Hannah, I think you cut out.
Part of the program was actually right away with the 9-week training courses, because I just learned so much from the professionals, and it was really great to hear them talk about their field of expertise, because they really knew what they were talking about, and you could ask them like all kinds of questions and they would be able to answer it. So that was really great. And then what was also amazing was always after the lectures, we'd like go out into breakout rooms, and I got to have discussions about what we've just learned with people, and it was really nice to get a chance to meet people who I felt like were like really interested in the same things as me and also really passionate about them. And it was just really nice to be able to build that sort of community. And then one last great thing that I sort of enjoyed about it was it almost sort of made climate change kind of personal for me, because when you're first learning about climate change and stuff, especially on like an activist level, it sort of feels, kind of crazy apocalyptic, like, oh my God, the world is gonna end. But what was sort of nice about being a part of the ambassador program is it kind of brings it back down to earth, and you actually see, oh, here are like concrete steps and actions I can take in order to actually do something about it. And it's just really nice to be able to do something. And, it also helps you just feel a bit more optimistic about the whole thing, because instead of like fighting against impending doom, you're instead fighting for like a brighter and more sustainable future for the city. And that just really helps bring a bit more of a positive twist to it. And I agree with Jennifer, it really helps with this whole idea of climate stress and stuff with that. Then I started on the project that Jennifer came up with the AAPS, going there and helping students learn about climate change and the A2Zero program, and also helping them set up like projects of their own. And it was really great because first off, I got to work with a really wonderful team, and it was just, it was really nice getting to know them and working with them. And it was just a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed doing it because everyone was so invested, and worked so hard on it. And then the second thing that I really loved about the project was, even though I absolutely loved the ambassador program, the one thing that I noticed that I thought was a bit of a shame was that there weren't a lot of other people my age there. But then what I thought was so great was that the ambassador program then actually gave me a chance to, sort of rectify a problem that I saw through that project. I think that's something that not a lot of other programs will give you the chance to do. And I just think that's something that's really special about the ambassador program. Overall, I would say that my favorite thing was just being able to work with, be a part of, and help build this community, because it just gave me a lot of joy to be working with all these really amazing people. And I'm just very, very thankful for the fact that I had this opportunity. So last off, we want to show you, to finish off this presentation, we thought it might be nice for you to hear from some other ambassadors about what their favorite part of the A2Zero ambassador experience was. So we gathered a group of ambassadors to record their responses to you, and we hope you enjoy. Also, just let me know if the sound isn't coming through for some reason.
Hi everyone, my name is Crystal Fabian. I'm a climate ambassador and I'm really excited that you're interested in the program. One of my favorite things about the program was to be connected virtually to a whole community of people that are excited about making change, about climate, about talking about their environmental education, for example, and being able to envision a different future for themselves and for future generations. So consider joining the program. I hope to see you in the future.
Hey, I'm Lauren. I think my favorite part of the program was being challenged to think about how all of these various concerns about transportation or energy or food and water quality are wrapped up together in this question of equity. We got to ask, what is environmental justice?
Hello, so my favorite part of the A2Zero's program were a couple of the sessions that we had. The first session that we had, I think, was geared towards environmental justice, climate justice, and the social component of the environment. And I thought that was really interesting to start off with, just because it gave people a good overview of where this all could be. You can't think about the environment without thinking about all of the aspects that make up the environment, and the social part of the environment is a big part of it. Hearing from different people, hearing different perspectives, hearing holistically about how we as social creatures can relate to the environment, and how we can be more interdependent, interconnected, and good to the environment.
My favorite part of being part of this program is that the A2Zero plan is big and bold, and it's really unique to the Midwest. And I'm just really proud to be an Ann Arborite and be part of that big, bold, ambitious carbon neutrality plan.
Yeah, so thank you so much for listening to that. Now, for the last thing, I'm going to share the application form with you guys. And yeah, here, so if you're interested in applying to the A2Zero ambassadorship, that would be really great. We'd love to see you there. And then just want to stop off with, does anyone have any questions for us that we could answer?